This weekend was Boomtastic. Can we call it that? It was Boomtastic.
Wasn't bad.
I mean, kaboom, boom, boom. Um, let's start here because I want to first find out which boom you liked the best. We had Friday night's boom, four-star defensive lineman out of IMG Academy London Merit. So Larry Johnson with a big boom Friday night, followed by Saturday's first boom of two when we got a linebacker. This one James Laurinaitis' boy. And I think they call him TJ, but it's Tarvis Alford the
Yep.
second. I think they call him TJ Alford. And then we had later in the day, we got our first of two booms out of the state of New Jersey, DePaul Catholic duo. We nailed down wide receiver. They call him Dez Jones or DZ, I think is how it's pronounced. Desi, maybe Jones. Of course, this following the departure of Javen Boggs from this class. And then his teammate at the safety position, Deshaun Stewart, uh, he made his commitment today. So two from that. So four all in the same weekend. JR, I'll start with you. Which one of those four got you the most excited? Uh oh.
Oh,
JR, you're muted.
Sometimes I breathe into the mic, so I always have to mute myself so that
No
way people don't
problem.
hear me heavy
Appreciate that.
breathing in the background.
Like
I'm
Darth
sure that's
Vader.
not enjoyable, yeah, for podcasting. I have to be honest. The one that I just went back to and like as soon as it was announced and I saw it was TJ Alford. And more so than anything because it just like confirms to me that we are exactly right about James Laurinaitis. And James Laurinaitis is getting himself on the path of Tim Walton and Brian Hartline. Now, you're not going to see as many stars from James Laurinaitis because the linebacker position is not prioritized as much in the NFL draft. So therefore, they do not get the same treatment star wise as the wide receivers and the cornerbacks and the safeties and people like that do. However, you are going to see some of the best linebackers in the nation, I think, coming to Ohio State now because you have James Laurinaitis here. And there must just be something about being a former player, being a great player that did it while you were here that is just even more enticing to some of these college kids. I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm sure it would, make me more apt to go in there. But whatever reason it is, we have a three-headed monster on the recruiting trail right now, and I just can't wait to see James Laurinaitis keep going.
Chris.
yeah. As excited as I am about Merritt, I really feel like Alford was the bigger get, just like Jared was saying, because he's really the true first big get that Laurinaitis has had since becoming a full time coach. Uh, he's with the 63rd ranked player in the nation according to 247 Sports Composite. Uh, he's I think he's a great linebacker. He's got speed. He's aggressive at the point of attack, fluid. Has great range, and he has the ability to get up there, play long, knock down passes. He's athletic, physical, everything you want in a linebacker. And I think that when Laurinaitis gets a hold of this guy, he's going to make a star out of him.
I don't want to agree with you guys because that's not good for podcasting, but I will because I think it's true. Um, but at the same time, I want to highlight two coaches. Number one, I find it kind of funny that as soon as Javen Boggs, by the way, I'm super disappointed he decommitted. Just name
I
basis
know you wanted
alone,
your
man.
Boggs jersey.
I did. I just that disappointed me. But that Brian Hartline's like, okay, now who else wants in? Oh, you do? Okay, come on. Like it's that easy for him at this point, right? And then on top of that, how about on Tuesday, Larry Johnson talks about his age, and we all talked about, Chris, you and I talked about how he seemed rejuvenated and really was a spry looking and sounding 71-year-old man. And then he hammers down a big time recruit commit this weekend and really got the ball
And,
rolling.
and Eric, a big thing about Merritt too is, yeah, he's a big time commit, 4-star guy, top 100 nationally, just like you mentioned. But He comes from IMG Academy. They're a football factory, Eric. These guys, I mean, if you look right now, they have 30 players who are rostered in NCAA Division One ball, and 24 more who are in the NFL currently active. 54 guys currently active in either big time college ball or in the NFL. That's amazing.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Maddie Butcher from Australia in the house. I saw Coconut. Did I see Coconut Dreams earlier? Yes, I did.
Yeah,
So we
we've
have
got
two.
Australia and the Philippines both in the house tonight, Eric.
That's right. We're international, baby. We're international. Maddie Butcher, hey fellas, happy Easter. In regards to recruiting with NIL, does the prestige in playing for top schools like Alabama or Ohio State still hold its place, or are the kids going to schools purely for the money? Because this year Ohio have copied plenty of stick after using NIL to recruit players, where other schools have done it for much longer.
Yeah,
Go
Eric,
ahead.
if you don't mind me jumping in here, I
Sure.
think it's still definitely, there's still a lot associated with the prestige because playing at a school of this caliber, whether you're paid to or not, playing and performing at a high level at a school of this caliber carries a lot of weight when you go to make the move to the next level. I mean, you could have, and I'm just going to throw something crazy out here. You could have Kent State go out and buy a number one the number one recruit in the nation, but just because he looks good at Kent State doesn't mean that it's going to have the same bearing as looking good at Ohio State.
Let me push back slightly. Okay.
Go ahead and throw back Dion's buy a couple of years ago. Go ahead.
No. I'm actually going to keep it in the state. Let's look at Toledo. I think Toledo is going to have a kid who's drafted in the top 10 this upcoming draft. So it's you can go to a
I'm not
smaller
saying you
school and
can't.
still get drafted, but the if you look at the number of kids drafted from
Right.
programs, Ohio State, my let's see, Alabama, Ohio State, Notre Dame, um,
USC,
USC, and I'm missing another one that's in the top five. Is it Oklahoma? Maybe
either Oklahoma or Texas, I'm betting.
it's got to be an SEC school. I'm missing one from the SEC.
Georgia.
They're a little bit more new money, man. I know
Yeah,
they want
they're
to argue
newer. I
about
mean,
the.
prior to that, yeah, yeah.
I know that that's probably gonna ruffle some feathers, and maybe
No,
Mr.
you're
Wallace
right.
will correct me and say it's Florida State. By the way, Mr. Wallace, this is a great comment, and I'm gonna answer your comment with a question. Florida recruits understand going to OSU is big time. I love the Knowles, but I see why Florida athletes commit early. My follow-up question is we see that as well, but why do
Yeah.
Florida kids decommit more than any other kid from any other state? I want to know your opinion on that, Mr. Wallace, as a Florida guy. Would love to get into the weeds with someone about that. All right, next question about this recruiting weekend, big recruiting weekend that we had. Out of those who visited, who would you like to see commit the most? Let me run down a quick list of some of the big dogs that were here. Five-star offensive tackle David Sanders Jr. was here. Five-star wide receiver Jamie Finch was here. Five-star cornerback Dorian Brew was here. High four-star safety Jonah Williams. High four-star safety Fahim Deloney. Another safety Jaden Hudson was here. Running back Bo Jackson, four-star, was here. Linebacker Riley Pettijohn, I believe maybe is how that's
It's
pronounced.
Pettijohn, yeah.
Pettijohn. And then some receivers who I don't know anything about yet. Talon Taylor, Philip Bell, Dalen McCutcheon, Donovan Olugbodi. Sorry, I am
Was that a
uncultured
question or a statement?
swine. Maybe both. Vernell Brown, Marcus Harris, and then Trent Wilson, a defensive lineman, was also here this weekend. Same order, JR. Which one on that list would you love to see Ohio State nailed down? And I already know the honest answer, and probably the best answer, is the first guy I mentioned, but feel free to give a second if you like.
Well, I was gonna say my head says David Sanders Jr. Obviously, a spectacular player, is going to be a first round draft pick and definitely a spot of need. But my heart says I really, really, really just want to stick it to that team up north who was so excited that he came to their campus for 1 day, but he came to Ohio State for 2 days, and that's Jordan Davidson. Give me Jordan Davison, bring him here, show him that Tony Alford doesn't give them anything, and they can go and cry and be upset and say, "Oh, we hired Tony Alford. I thought our recruiting was going to improve." No, you still signed 3 stars. Give us our 5 star. That's my answer.
I like that answer. Chris,
Yeah, I'm with JR. I'd love to say David Sanders, but fact is he's staying close to home, probably going to Clemson or Georgia. I just don't see
maybe.
us getting. I just don't see us getting him, Eric. I mean,
But this is where NIL
uh,
can step in and
it is,
really
but
do some
you look
stuff.
at him. 5 of 6 of his schools are all in the South. Ohio State's the outlier. Yeah, it would be great to see him as a Buckeye. Yes, there's some prestige in playing there, but you know what? Arguably, Georgia's got just as much prestige right now as far as that recency bias goes, and
Maybe more,
maybe
actually.
more, obviously, given the fact they've got a couple national titles.
I actually think Georgia doesn't have as much prestige, and I know that's
Um,
like kind of like a homer take, but anyway, you go ahead,
I
Chris.
think
You
in
don't
the
need to
long term,
elaborate.
you're right. I think overall you're right as far as if you look back through history, but recency bias does play a factor with these kids. Um, but that being said, I really like the Jamie French, the receiver. I think he's big. I think there's obviously a opportunity there with Boggs decommitting for him to step in and be a top receiver in that cycle for us. Um, and also, I think probably the one I'm most excited about though is Dorian Brew.
Okay.
He's big. He's physical corner, 6'2", 185. Great in press coverage, very aggressive, and actually, pretty surprisingly good in coverage for somebody with his size as well.
Cornelius, this is just him, man. It's just Chris. He keeps us grounded, brother. Keeps us grounded. Chris is the eternal pessimist on our show. He keeps us grounded, brother. Don't you worry. By the
I'm
way,
just keeping it real.
Chris says it's Fincher Brew. Um, the obvious answer is David Sanders Jr. Right? I do think NIL gives us a puncher's chance. I do. I think that this is going to be a. I don't think he's just going to commit out of nowhere to Clemson. I think that this is going to be a battle to the end, and who knows? I mean, if we're right there, ranked number one in the country, and everything's going well, and he sees some NIL dollars floating his way that Clemson's not willing to match, I think we got a puncher's chance. But outside of him, can I say Bo Jackson?
Sure.
I mean, number one, the name,
You
brother.
just love the marketing possibilities, don't
Oh,
you?
I see dollar signs out the yin yang, man. I see Bo
Maybe,
Jackson
maybe
on
get
campus,
maybe
the
get
Bo
Bo Jackson
Jackson.
and Bo Jackson
Exactly.
and get him doing a commercial.
I see the Bo Jackson on campus with our Bo Jackson doing a Bo knows Nike commercial, man. Is what I see.
Just in case you were wondering, the Bo Jackson's going to be in Columbus here in a few months,
Signing autographs.
signing autographs.
Yeah. Ed Rogers, Georgia has cash too. Yes, they do. They do. But here's the thing. Georgia's been paying out that cash for decades, bro. Ohio State's just getting started, and the playing field is now level. So that's what is, I think, exciting about the fact that we have NIL. If you're going to take a positive swing on this, because I know a lot of people are down on NIL and it's changed the game forever, etc. And I get that. I understand that. A lot of us are traditionalists at heart. But the fact that NIL now exists gives teams like Ohio State, the team up north, and Notre Dame here in the north the opportunity to now be on the same level playing field as the big guys in the south who've been doing this for decades under the table. Those are now the facts. So, yeah, they have cash, but now we can use ours now too, is what I'm saying there. Um, Let me answer this question. Our buddy KP. Is anyone worried about not landing Dorian Brew or Trey McNutt due to the numbers game with the commit we just received today? No, and here's why. We're going to take anywhere from 4 to 5 safeties in this class. We are a safeties driven defense. You because of the transfer portal, you have to take maybe more than what you thought you needed to, simply because you need to replenish those who might leave. And so I think Trey McNutt being a son of a former Buckeye is big for us. I think,
I think we get McNutt, Eric. I really
yeah,
do. I think
I do too.
I think we get Brew. And correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't Dorian Brew have some ties to Ohio State as well? Wasn't his mother like a track star or something at Ohio State?
I'm not sure. Do you know, JR?
Yeah, one of them was their mother was like a huge track star, and then the father ran at LSU, but then he has some kind of connection to Ohio State as well. I forget exactly what it is, but yeah, there's some kind of track mother that is a huge star at Ohio State.
Okay. His father was an Olympic gold medalist. Did I
That
read
sounds
that
right.
right? Wow. And his mom was a sprinter at Ohio State and a member of the Ohio State Athletics Hall of Fame.
The dad has some kind of connection too. I can't recall it off the top of my head, but he has some kind of connection to Ohio State as well. I don't know if it's in track and field or what, but he like there's something connecting him too.
Yeah, the Coconut Dreams. You're absolutely right because our numbers just went doubled.
Here
So
come the Scoopers.
here come the Scoopers. Welcome in,
That's okay.
Scoopers.
Welcome, Scoopers. We're happy to share your yeah.
Absolutely. All right, next recruiting question, guys. So who is most likely to commit from those who visited? Well, obviously we found that out today. Who from that list do you think will be next to commit? How about that one, JR? I mean, this is a
Oh jeez.
crapshoot, really, but
I
go ahead.
yeah, I when I saw this question on the show notes, I was like any one of them could commit any day now, like
Yeah.
it's one of those things where like it just kind of depends on what they're feeling. I mean, obviously I would say whichever one has the next commitment date set. Like I know that's a cop out, but whichever one has a commitment date set next, I just feel like that's the one that's probably going to come because like when you come to Ohio State, like nobody leaves Ohio State and says I had a bad time at Ohio State. No recruit leaves saying that. If anything, whenever a recruit comes, they're either solidified, I'm going to Ohio State because we were already number one, or they come and they say, oh, well, I had them fifth, but now they're in the top two because I had such a great time there. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen at other college campuses too. Surely, they impress them there too as well. But like some of these guys, and you saw it this weekend, where guys come and it wasn't just TJ Alford that committed. There were other guys that committed too because they come and they see it and they're amazed by it, and it is what it is. So I know that's kind of a cop out answer, but I'm just going to say whichever one has a commitment date set next.
All right. Before you give that next answer, Chris, we got member number 8. Coconut
Nice.
Dreams from the Philippines just became a member of the OHIO
Can
podcast.
we
Now,
hit 10 before the end of the show?
now, this one's going to be interesting because I've never shipped anything to the Philippines before. But as a member, official member T-shirt coming your way, Coconut Dreams. DM me on Twitter or instant message me on Facebook, either one of the two, or you can email the show at theohiopodcast@gmail.com. Send me your address, and maybe we'll be sending you not only a T-shirt but care package from the great state of OHIO, buddy. Thanks for becoming a member. Really do appreciate that. And you can do as well, guys. It's not that hard. Go to our YouTube page, hit the join button. $3.99 a month. That is it. Get some behind the scenes stuff, free T-shirt, all kinds of good stuff, free shipping
Free
from the
shipping from the
store.
store. Yeah.
So there you go. Chris Smith, there you go. It's a podcast boom. Welcome in Coconut Dreams. Appreciate it. All right, Chris, who do you think's going to commit next out of this list of guys who was here this weekend?
You know, it is tough to say. It is kind of crapshoot, but I said it before. I'll say I like Jamie French here. I do because I think that when he decommitted from Alabama, he was already already had Ohio State in mind. I think he was torn between Ohio State and Alabama to begin with. I think the changes at Alabama and the decommitment just kind of leaned towards him coming to Ohio State at this point. I believe that the decommitting of Boggs opens that spot, like I said earlier, for him to come in and be, our guy in that class. So I'm looking for Jamie French to be the next one.
Well, you just kind of stole my thunder a little bit, Chris, but let me go ahead and okay. Asterix, asterix. This is a rumor. I don't have the sources to confirm this, but I've heard Jamie French is a silent commit already. Take it for what you will.
You know what they say about silent commits, don't you, Eric?
What's that?
If they would really commit, they wouldn't be silent. I'm probably the pessimistic one here, but I hate silent commits. If you're gonna commit, just commit. I,
You
I
know,
like hearing
And then
that they
if you're
like the
from
school and all this
Florida,
stuff,
decommit in 2 weeks.
well,
but like
do you know what I hate though? I hate
what?
commits who commit and then take visits. Like, why did you commit to begin with?
I'm okay with them if they're Jeremiah Smith. He's doing okay.
Well, yeah, but I'm also just saying, like,
No, I hear what you're saying.
I
Yeah,
live in a different era though. To me, that's like saying, hey, will you be my wife? But also, I'm going to go ahead and keep dating. Like,
Uh, and
but
JR, as far as Jeremiah Smith doing okay, yeah, I agree he's doing okay. But let's not jinx anything before the spring portal closes, okay? Just saying.
okay, sounds good. I appreciate your what's the word? Your conservativeness there, Chris.
my okay.
We don't lose out on probably one of the best players in all of college football history, possibly.
Will Buck, guys, this recruiting has been awesome. Best I've ever seen. Day has been in the hunt with top recruits before NIL. Downs, Keeley, but got outbid. Now with the level playing field, he's kicking a double S. Um, I'm gonna, I agree, but I'm just telling you, if 247 Sports was around in the 90s, Cooper would have been number one several times.
Yeah.
And listen, no one on this show is a ginormous Cooper fan here, okay? I mean, Chris has been calling Ryan Day Cooper 2.0 for a couple seasons now. And
And
that's
not
not
endearingly.
it's not endearing, right? So, but I'm telling you, back in the 90s, Cooper had some classes that were number 1 in the nation.
Yeah.
So, we've seen this before. It just hasn't been graded. Okay, there wasn't a 247
Oh, that
Sports.
class the year that Beanie came in, man,
What was that? Oh, 3 or 4.
was that 4? And then was it 96?
It was either the year or the second year after the Natty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Tressel was just steamrolling.
But you go
Yeah,
back to Cooper, I mean, was it 96? Was that one of his big ones, wasn't it? 90.
yeah, because then they were juniors in '98 and were number 1 in the
Yeah.
nation, and everybody was like,
Yeah.
talk to our boy Jonathan Cooper, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, he was on that team.
We also need to recognize that, like, Ohio high school football, like, obviously Ohio high school football has also been good, but or has always been good. But I mean, do you guys know who it's either the fourth or the fifth state with the most NFL players in the NFL right now is? The state of Ohio. It goes Florida, Texas, California, Ohio. I mean, Ohio is tiny compared to the populations in those states. Not tiny, but smaller than the populations in those states. And Ohio high school football is putting out players who don't just go to Ohio State, but also go to other places, and then they get into the NFL, and it's crazy. So, like, yes, Ohio State is recruiting an amazing clip, and I get that, like, not everybody is, who's committing right now is from Ohio, but there's 5 top 100 players in Ohio right now in this class for
Hmm.
24/7, and that's really really good. And so Ohio high school football coaches and everything else is going on. Like, they're really doing their work, and they're sending their guys to schools that'll prepare them for the NFL.
2 weeks ago, I had the Cincinnati podcast on here, right? The Kelseys came up like two of the most popular and better
Yeah.
NFL players in the last decade were from Northeast Ohio, went to Cincinnati because they weren't good enough to play Power Five football, and ended up going to the NFL. And look what kind of careers they had.
They're both Hall of Famers, most likely.
Ohio high school football is legit, and I'm telling you, I would be interested, JR, to find out what positions the majority of those kids are playing. My guess is there probably a ton of them are like trench kids, offense, defensive line, tight ends. You're
Probably
gonna
throwing up for you running backs.
linebackers, you know.
Yeah, linebackers.
So yeah. Um, let's move on. I think we have one more question here in this topic. All right, yes. Which one of these recruits that was on campus this week do you like the best and why? And feel free to be as creative as to the reason why you like that recruit, JR.
Well, I'm trying to find one to say that I haven't already said, and I know Chris said him last time, but I guess I'll kind of piggyback. I just really like Jamie French, and I think that he is going to be a fantastic player, and the shot that Heartline has for him and the abilities that he possesses. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be a Jeremiah Smith and come in here and be like that, but I could see him coming in and being similar to like Carnell Tate, where he is coming in and he's seeing time as a freshman. Maybe he's not starting, but he's seeing time. And then that sophomore year, you get a year of him before he's going to hit the draft. It kind of just depends on the guys you have in the room around him and that kind of stuff. But Jamie French is one player that I really, really want. And I know a wide receiver is like, oh, another wide receiver. But at the end of the day, I uh, I need Jamie French in my life on my favorite football team.
Go for it, Chris.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I'm just going to leave it with this. Dorian Brew. Like I said, I love the physicality. I think that Tim Walton has brought BIA to a whole new level. I really feel like defensive backs. We are DBU once again, and I think that he's going to be a great addition.
Give me Trey McNutt. I whenever someone has an online presence like he has in a YouTube channel like he does, that's a kid after my own heart, man. I think that's unique. He's got a great personality. I think he's gonna be one of those kids who gets on campus and the media is gonna fall in love with because of that personality. So yeah, he's one of my favorite kids that was on campus this weekend, and hoping he decides to pull the trigger on this really soon. I want to answer a question on here that I saw. Coconut Dreams. If the OHSAA would allow 7-on-7, Ohio high school football would get even stronger. This is true, but there is something that we do in the state of Ohio, I think, just about better than anybody else that contributes to college football and the number of recruits coming out of the state of Ohio. And it's twofold. Number one is Ohio is a strong wrestling state. And any football coach will tell you that if you wrestle, it only helps you play football as well. Let's look at Luke Fickle. Luke Fickle is probably one of the greatest wrestlers in the state of Ohio ever, history. I don't think he ever lost a match. I think he was a
And
state champion 4 times.
this has been going on for years. You go back to Cousineau, same thing. Tom Cousineau, amazing, amazing wrestler.
And coupled right with wrestling is the state of Ohio's ability to, with the powerlifting. Like that is a very real thing too. Have you guys seen any of the videos of the young girls in Ohio with the powerlifting? Like, the state can produce some. What was it? Nick Mangold's sister? Wasn't she an Olympian power lifter? Did she make the Olympics as a power lifter? I'm pretty sure she did.
I don't remember for the Olympics, but I
I
remember she
think
was
she
really, really
did.
big and had a like a national. Uh, I don't know if
I,
brand is the right word, but known nationally.
let's see. I'm gonna look her up real fast because I'm pretty sure she did.
Hey, we've got our
Holly.
first official troll over in the chat there, Eric.
Oh, we've had plenty of those. Let's
Thank
see.
you,
Holly
trolls, for
Mangold.
adding to the views. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holly Mangold, an American weightlifter. Yeah. She was on the American USA weightlifting team. That's that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, let's see. Antoine Johnson, do you think that because Ohio State automatically assumes that they will get Ohio kids to play for them, that it will become a problem for OSU in the future because they only get premium players while shunning the rest?
I think that we've gone through that in the past at times,
Jordan
where maybe
Marshall.
there was an assumption that these guys would sign with us. I believe that moving forward that we've got an awareness, specifically now that we've got three former Buckeyes on that coaching staff. Don't look for the state of Ohio to get overlooked again.
I do want to answer this troll with one thing. Number one, have some guts and actually put your name on your name, and then when you do, send me a message, and we'll make a significant bet on who wins this year, big guy. See if you're willing to put your money where your mouth is. That's all I'm gonna say. All
He's
right.
not. He's a troll and he doesn't
Yeah,
want to show his face.
yeah. Because I mean, he already didn't want to put his own
He's as
name out
gutless
there.
as Jenny Ballgame.
Look at this fact from 79 Steely Matt. Luke had 107 straight wins in wrestling. Dude, that's more than Goldberg, isn't it? Did
I
he
know that Goldberg had like 100, but
did he out Goldberg
and
Goldberg?
and his were fixed, man.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.